What's up, everybody? Hope you're all having a fantastic day. I'm Jacob with Very Good Knife Company, and if you're new to the channel, welcome in. And if you've been here a while, welcome back. Happy to have all of you. So, yes, I'm alive. And the week after the drop, I kind of just collapsed mentally and physically. The Eagle and Hawk run and everything else in between just absolutely drained me. So, the week after, I spent most of it at home. I did come and work a few days and a couple of half days, but we had so much that we just neglected trying to get through things. I mean, we were just hell-bent on getting that big run done. And, you know, among staying alive as well. So we had a whole bunch of work to do at home, and we did. We got Remington, our son, his bedroom finished up and him moved into it. We've still got a few things that we've got to do, but we checked off one major task off of our list, and it has been nice. There's several other things that I was trying to get to and just never did. So, you know, it's real easy for time to just slip away, and those things that you just kind of push off, they'll come back and get you one day. Like the Suburban, when I had to move, I just did the same thing that I'm doing with it now and push it off. Majority of it is the time. There's not enough hours in the day, my goodness. But this past week, I have absolutely been on fire. And I needed a break from medias and going live. I needed that first week to recollect my head. I checked off a few orders, and then this past week, I came out swinging. I cut down that list. That board was completely full from top to bottom, 100%. It was so crammed full that we were trying to wipe stuff off that was started so I could put other stuff in there. This past week, I checked off 20 knives from 0 on Monday. I didn't have any, I actually had one that had been heat treated, so that was a really big week. I still got a few of them sitting here. I'll show you some of them, but one of them was crazy popular on the reels, on the shorts videos. I sound like an old man. Anyway, this is a First Strike Nitro V. This one's hollow ground. This one has a sharpened swedge, and it is the first special First Strike that anybody's ever ordered. Had some people talk about it, but never actually pulled the trigger on ordering one. This one is Fat Carbon Space Coral. This is the stainless or silver space coral. It's kind of hard to see. There we go. You can see that now. That is way cool. I think this would look cool on a pattern welded blade, Damascus blade. Black liners, pretty dang sweet, right? That one made its way out this week. And another basic First Strike with the High Saber flat grind. Now, this has taken all the show. I've got one more First Strike. There's two more that have not been added to the list as of over the weekend. And I finished 3 this week already. This one more that got sent out, and then this Nitro V one. So, that being said, I need to change my sheath tactic on the First Strike. Now, I don't hate the sheaths that I've been sending with them. They've just never been exactly the way that I want them, and that's because I don't have a mold. They're all molded specifically to the knife, which it might sound crazy, but sometimes that makes it harder to get the fit that you want rather than having a mold. Because then I have to add space around so the knife doesn't scratch, or, you know, the blade's not too tight. It's just been not fun. And I've been doing the same thing with the Walkabout. However, this is a much easier knife to do sheath molds, because all I have to do is fill in this void, and I have a piece specifically for all the walkabouts that I do. Tape it up and all that good stuff. I don't want to do any of that. I want to make a mold, and I never have because in truth, I've never made that many of them. I just haven't. They haven't been all that crazy popular, but they are now for whatever reason. I mean, there's good reason. They're badass, but I guess with some videos coming out, they were bound to take off, and I think they're super awesome. I do. I will say that this high flat saber grind is the way. It is the way for this knife. They've always been hollow ground, and there's nothing wrong with that. I just think this is better. I think it looks better. This one is actually shortened. The handle is shortened. Dude's got small hands and he wants to carry it inner waistband. Why you want to carry a first strike inner waistband? I don't know. I'm not going to argue, and I don't care. If you want to carry it inner waistband, well then by all means, buddy, do it. But this one's got a shortened handle. It's still pretty good size, but like about 4.5 inches. I shortened it about 3/4 of an inch. This is an awesome knife. But anyhow, I keep getting sidetracked. This high saber flat grind will become a standard for sure on the first strike because I think it's better. I just do. It changes the versatility of the knife. Is it not quite as slicey? Maybe. The hollow grind is going to be slicier at the edge, but this flat grinds, and I'm a flat grind fan, that's why I carry an Adventure. The hollow grind seem to drag up here at the top of the grind. And that's, for some people, a bad thing, or just not as efficient of a slicer. However, in this direction, that hollow grind's gonna win. Just saying. I can't, you get it. But this changes the knife from essentially a one-purpose knife to a multi-purpose knife, a lot more versatile. You could do more batoning with this and more heavy use and a lot more, you could be a lot more aggressive with this blade as opposed to the hollow grind blade. It's gonna be stronger. So that'll do it. You may have seen on Last Huntsman Outdoor channel, Gabe's channel, the very first Generation 3. And it's a first strike configured exactly the same way as this one. However, in Generation 3. Has removable scales with the Gulso bolts. That is these guys right here instead of these. Now these are what I've been using for everything. Everything. There's 3 knives in existence right now, marked with Very Good Knife Company, that have Gulso bolts. 3. One of them belongs to me, one of them belongs to buddy Chad, and one of them belongs to Gabe. They're really easy, actually. I like doing these screws because I don't have to cut the heads off, I don't have to fit the sides and flush it all up. I do have to spend a little bit more time though doing the countersink because I want the head to be as flush with the outside of the scale as possible, which is why I like the finish of Corby screws, because they're essentially a non-feel. They don't have any kind of difference in the handle. Like, you can't tell that they're there. They're very flush, very, very, very clean. That's how I like things. Can't take them apart. But if you watch my restoration video, if you ever have problems with rust or anything like that, it's not that big of a deal for me to take it apart either. So, but these, there's nothing wrong with the Generation 2. I'm not abandoning it at all. I'm just gonna do another option, and that'll be the Generation 3. That being said, the other part of the Generation 3 is Cerakote. I started Cerakote with that one knife, and I wanted to do more. This stuff does not have a good shelf life. Did not know that. There's nothing wrong with mine. It's not at its age yet. But I read somewhere on Cerakote's website that it's only good for 6 months. So I got to get cracking on using that stuff because it's been sitting here for a few. We'll come back to that. I'll show you my Cerakote booth. Spray booth. It's back here in the back. And here it is. Pretty sweet. It's 4 foot by 4 foot. And I was having a problem with it sucking dust from the floor. This room floods. It's got a little step up, about 4 inches worth. None of the rest of the shop floods. Just this room, and only when it comes a torrential downpour. But the spray booth here, it's got a little door, and it attaches to the vacuum system, which is just on the other side of it here. This filter is not the filter. It's just not. I need the cloth micro filter, whatever. I fixed it sucking dust from the floor by adding the filter here, so it would draw air in through the side and not from the floor. But there it is, the Cerakote spray booth, and it is nice and solid, ready to go. It's got a light in there, you see. It's quite nice. It works really good. We will find out how well my Cerakote works. Shout out to Sweetmans Plumbing, by the way. If you are in the Northeast Georgia area and you need the best plumbing service that ever did exist, give them a call, 770-538-0727. Get a sweet deal. So, speaking of Sweetmans Plumbing, I did finish the inside the grinding room, the shop. And it's filthy because I've been working all week. I finished the vacuum system finally. So, I did have a ball valve down in here that I had to turn for this guy, the bandsaw. I moved that and deleted that entire stuff. I just ran a straight pipe from underneath the bench. That way I don't have to climb down there because I just did not like doing that. But I added these guys, and that was the plan all along. So I had a Y here and it was blocked off. This hose goes to the sandblaster, which is not working, by the way. I need a recirculator. That way it doesn't suck all of my blasting media out like it has, just about. But I can turn that off individually and open this hose, which I have just set up so I can turn everything else off, block the grinder plates off, and use this hose as just a clean up vacuum hose instead of carrying around the vacuum, which, by the way, is a pain in the neck. So that's cool. That's something that I did not this past week, but the week before. That was some of those projects that I was doing on my slow down week. Things that just needed to be done. But with the Blade Show coming up, I needed to get a little closer to where I wanted to be, and I have been wanting to roll out a Generation 3 coated version of a knife for quite a while. So if you have watched any of my past videos or know anything about Very Good Knife Company, you know that I have been doing knives for quite a long time, and one of my last brands for myself was Bloodline knives, and I did powder coating with those. I still have a powder coating setup. In fact, all that right there, from here to here, that's all powder coating stuff, and then I got a powder coater hanging out down here. I'm not crazy about powder coat because it's not as easy to get the thickness that I want. For the most part, powder coat is too thick. It is extremely, extremely durable. I have some powder coated knives that I've shown that I carried for a couple of years, and they still have most of the powder coat on them, and they were absolutely tormented for those years, the way my knives usually are. But I wanted to do Cerakote. Cerakote is tougher than powder coat by a good bit. Cerakote is very tough. And I really wanted to wait until I had a good setup, like I have now, finally. It's an oven cure, just like powder coat. So, I mean, in my opinion, they're pretty much the same kind of deal. Spray on. There's a little more cleanup with Cerakote. Powder coat's really easy to do. When you're done, you just spray it out. There's no liquid anywhere. So as long as your air is dry, nothing will stick anywhere, and you just give it a spray out into the atmosphere, and it's gone. But again, there are just more benefits of Cerakote than there are powder coat. One of them being the thickness. So in order for that to happen, the knives have to have removable scales. That way I can completely fit the handles and finish the knife, essentially finish the knife, and take it apart, blast it, Cerakote it, put it back together, right? I've had the Gulso bolts sitting over there for like 8 months now. It's been quite a while since I got those, so I've been planning to do this for quite a while. I really want to up my production level on the basic, like Generation 2, the standard base models. That's these. This is a Gen 1. But, I mean, you get it. They're the same kind of deal. I want to up my production on everything basic. And Generation 3 is pretty much a final form for my production line. That's where I want to end up. That's what I want my knives to end up looking like. That was the plan all along, is to get to a point where the business and company runs itself. That being said, it would need more computer operated stuff, more CNC stuff. Not a problem for me. I don't have a problem with turning over into CNC. I'm not saying that I'm going to quit doing handmade stuff. If I'm doing specials, I can guarantee you they're all going to be done exactly the way I'm doing them now. What I plan to do after Blade Show, once everything's settled and I can think clearly again, is to start using water jet. And anything that is going to be like basic and big runs, stuff like that, I need to have water jet. I'm spending too much time hand blanking, and even though I'm pretty quick at it, my output level is not where it needs to be because the demand is increasing. Praise the Lord. The thing is, I won't sustain unless I keep up with the demand, and my end goal was to build something that would sustain itself without my hands in the picture constantly. As of right now, if I snap a finger, I'm done. I can't finish anything because it's 100% entirely on me. And I've been trying for quite some time to eliminate little processes and steps, change little things here and there to make it easier. I've been doing that for a long time, but as in the past year and a half, I've really buckled down on what I needed help with. Looking back, if I had the kind of demand that I had, if I just had the knives that I had on the shelf a year and a half ago right now, things would be a lot different for sure. I had a lot going on then and didn't have the demand, and now it's backwards. I'm making more knives than ever. I've made more knives this year already than I did the first year. I did 300 knives first year. I think I'm about 200 now. So I'm a little off on that. 400 is a lot of knives a year, a lot. That's what we did last year, was 400 knives. I think I'll clear that this year for sure. I hope. That's my goal, was to get around somewhere around 500. That'd be cool a year. But water jet, I'll be starting water jet after Blade Show for sure on the basic stuff. Now, I still do custom stuff. This is a Hornet. This is an order for a fella named John. He's got 3 of them here. And he always does Maker's Choice. They all got to have a lanyard hole. They're all Nitro V. And he always just says, do what you want with it, but I want liners and a lanyard hole every time. So he always leaves it to me to figure out what colors to pick. And this time, this is a Hornet with an extended handle per his request. Here is a Hornet. Now this one is another custom order. This one is personalized, you can see there. That is an option. I only charge $5 for it too. And that's just for my setup. But this is a Hornet, and it's flat ground. That's what he wanted. And it's got fat carbon dark matter purple. And this one, so this is cool. I use my surface grinder for a new technique that I have just not gotten to yet. But I'll explain that in a minute. This has got some Vibe Composites, the purple linen micarta liners, as opposed to G10 liners. Now he wanted a lighter purple, and for whatever reason, my lighting in here is just not giving me what I want. But this is a lot lighter colored than G10 purple. It's a lot better looking. This is a really, really, really good looking liner. But it's linen micarta instead of G10. So I cut it with a bandsaw. But I have a sheet of the Vibe Composites linen micarta. This is the 1/4 inch, not the liner stock. And I just didn't care for it. I mean, I like the purple. I do like purples. I don't carry them. I just like purples. And I don't know, it's a good color, but it's too much. Everything that I've used it on has just been, it's too much of a color. And the liners are where it's at, for sure. It's not giving me the color that I want. Let's see. There we go. Now you can see it. Check that out. Isn't that awesome? There we go. Look at that. See what color you can see the color of the liners there. Pretty sweet. So anyhow, that's a standard length handle. This is a extended handle. It's extended about a 1/2 inch. That's what he wanted. You got 2 of these. This is my favorite colors. Combined nat with forest green liners. That is an awesome look. I love it, love it. I would carry the life out of this. Pretty sweet. So things like this I won't be able to do water jet. I'll always have to keep steel in stock for. Here's the 3rd one of John's order. This is a Revelation in Nitro V blue with turquoise liners. Blue on blue, pretty sweet. Again, Maker's Choice. Tells me to do what I want, and I did. And I think it looks pretty awesome. I struggled with what colors to put with the blue, and I thought blue on blue would look really cool. I love the Revelations. Here's another order from the week. This one, another reason why I will always be doing hand blanking. This is a Revelation in Nitro V, but it is 1/8 inch stock as opposed to the 5/32 stock. This one is a standard. This one is thinner. This is an absolute laser beam. Slice Wizard with that super tall flat grind and an 1/8 inch stock. It is very thin and very, very slicey. But you can see the difference in the two. I prefer the 5/32. Look, I like that stock on this knife. It just, I think that's what it's for. I like the way it looks down at the plunge with that faded plunge line. Big sweeping plunge. I like that. And it looks better on the 5/32 than it does the 1/8 inch. It's marginal, but you know, if you wanted one an 1/8 inch, I'll make it for you. It's not a problem. This one's going to Australia. That's pretty cool. But pretty sweet. Here's another one that is slightly modified. It's a Mosquito, except it's full flat grind. Pretty sweet. That one's done as well. So there's a couple examples of why I won't ever be able to abandon keeping a bunch of steel on my shelf. It'll never, ever go away, ever. Not as long as I'm making knives, anyway. I just got a whole bunch of steel in. I had like 3 pieces left sitting here after everything. And I've got a bunch cut up over here, ready to start for Blade Show. I've got just under a month, but I've got plenty of time. My goal, here's my goal. I was wanting to go with 100 knives. Never happened. Maybe it will, I don't know. I still have, let's see. I've got 3 knives sitting in there on the bench, on the stock table. And I've also got 9 Eagles or 10 Eagles left and 3 Hawks. So I've got those to go with, plus the 3 specials that I have sitting there that I set back. I wanted to show up with at minimum 2 Signature Series, and now I have my minimum 2 blades. They're heat treated and ready to grind. This one's been sitting here for quite a while. You guys that have been here know you've seen this one, and I just have not gotten to it yet. I'm about to, though. And I just did this one this week just to have an extra. This one has got some grapevine file work on it. Pretty sweet. It all has to be done before heat treat, so I just went ahead and did that. But here's another Signature Series. Got a little choil, since I'm so anti-choil. I thought it would look good. Most of the time when I do a choil, that's why I did it, because I thought it would look good, not because I wanted it there. But these are looker knives, and I want them to look really good. So pretty sweet looking blade there. Pretty sweet. It's going to be really nice. I'm going to do a flat grind on it and stay below and leave a little bit of cheek. I'll probably do a sweeping plunge like the Revelation. It'll be cool. This will be a cool knife. And then this one's going to get double hollow ground. That'll be awesome. It's going to get some fat carbon uni copper. Pretty sweet stuff. Speaking of fat carbon, I had a follower, a big time supporter of mine, John, a different John, send me a box of fat carbon. Thank you, John. I appreciate you very, very, very much. I've just, you know what? Blessings like that, they make me, they're just a good reality check. There's people out there, good people out there. And I appreciate your support. I really appreciate it very, very much. So, I hope I've covered just about everything. I know I always think that I'm forgetting something, but I feel like I've covered most of it today. What we're doing for Blade Show and the Generation 3 coming up and everything afterward. So, I believe that's all. I appreciate all your support, no matter how big or small. Thanks for watching, guys. Have a good one.